Hello and welcome. My name is Jordan and this is Airport CEO. Welcome back to Hyatt Airport. So I made a mistake. I filmed this entire episode, and I realized after the fact that I had an issue with my audio. So the game audio is fine, but my commentary throughout is not. So that being said, this episode is being done after the fact in terms of the voiceover. So it may be a little bit different. I may be indicating things with my mouse as I just was, but there's no words matching that. I apologize for that. This is going to be more of like I guess, a podcast style episode where I'm just going to talk about what's going on as I'm watching it. So yeah, I hope that's okay. The next episode after this one, episode 26, will be back to the normal style because I have fixed the issue. Uh, I literally just published today. Well, this video is gonna go up not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow. But today I was finishing the baggage handling guide, and I had to change some settings around to do the actual video recording and editing. And so yeah, that's basically the cause of everything. So all those people who get use out of my baggage handling guide, I blame you. But in any case, in this episode, I am basically just going to be doing some final last touches to Terminal 3 because I had realized that we completely forgot to put bathrooms. We also forgot to put any sort of shops or cafes or restaurants there. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing in this episode. We also have all of these flight delays that you keep seeing pop up on the top left corner. Um, and that's primarily due to catering trucks. So, uh, meaning we didn't have enough catering trucks. So I kind of just went and bought a whole whack of them all at once here just to try and catch everything up here. Um, but yeah, that's what we got going on there. And here I'm just showing that I normally, like, you have the option to turn off all of those flight delay notifications. You can change it to always delay or always turn away, I think is the other option, or to prompt you. I always keep it on prompt because when you see all those notifications in the top left corner, you know something's wrong. So you need to go and figure that out as soon as possible. So yeah, I like to play with that always prompting me. But yeah, so we in the future, part of the delays that we have going on here is because the catering trucks have to go all the way from Terminal 1 all the way up to Terminal 2 and 3 in order to restock the truck. And unfortunately, it's a long drive for them to go up there, so that's really what's driving the delays. So we're gonna need to look, once we start doing the rework to Terminal 1, we need to look at putting a catering facility down in Terminal 1's vicinity. I don't know if that's possible or not. Catering is completely new to me. Oh my goodness, look at all those delays. Yeah, it was pretty bad at the start of this episode. Uh, Sorry, that might have been a spoiler. Um, but yeah, and we don't have very many flights coming into Terminal 1 for the medium stands anymore. That was basically the point of this episode, was to clear the schedule so that we can turn off all those stands and start dismantling. Um, we're not going to start doing any construction to the Terminal 1 at this time, but for sure, after this episode, that's going to be the focus. So I think here I'm just like taking a look at each flight to see what's the holdup, why are they delayed, and it's really just the catering that's really holding them up. Everything else seems to be working fine. And like, just check that distance out. This is one of those large maps, so it takes a long time for those trucks to drive from one side to the other, and I usually play on full speed, the third speed, so it looks fast, but it's actually not that fast. I must say though, having catering, cleaning service enabled, it's pretty crazy. All the traffic that is driving around the terminals now. I think the only service I haven't played with yet is the de-icing service, which I mean, this airport's supposed to be in Hawaii, so de-icing service seems a little bit out of place, but we do get really very short winters, as we've seen in some of the episodes. Suddenly the ground turns white for, a couple hours, and then it's back to normal from there. But yeah, I'm really surprised that even though this airport is based in Hawaii, that we do still get winters in game. So I'm just checking the schedule here to see when it's going to be clear of any flights for the medium stands, and it looks like on Sunday it's completely clear. So we just have a few more flights to get through on Terminal 1 medium stands, and then we'll be able to turn them off. And here I'm just turning off some of the ones that are already clear. So now we got 3 of them. And I kind of, in this episode, one of the main focuses for me was to wage a war against the planes that keep flying over, like directly over Terminal 3, because it's kind of really annoying when you're trying to do things around the terminal area to have loud aircraft just like fly right through. So I'm definitely looking to change that. The other thing I wanted to try to do here is um, we have that contractor issue where we have 31 extra contractors, and I don't really know why. Um, they're just it's a bug. So I tried to dismiss all the contractors here, and here I go over and I'm gonna wait until all the contractor trucks go away, or buses rather, and then I'm gonna try. Yeah, so all the contractors are getting in the bus. And then I'm going to try and cancel the contract that I have for them, even though it's a really good contract, really good pricing and everything. But um, yeah, I just wanted to see if it was possible to fix this issue. I don't like playing with bugs in my gameplay. But unfortunately, we can't cancel the contract because the 31 contractors that are there that aren't part of the contract, yeah, they're causing it to be stuck. So I pulled up the debugging overlay to see if there's anything I can do here to get rid of them, but I didn't really see any options there. So yeah, we're stuck. We're gonna keep these extra contractors. Who knows? We did have that bug early on in the series where there was a plane that was like stuck on the flight board that wouldn't ever land or go away or anything. I didn't do anything about that plane. It just sort of disappeared one day. I started playing and it was gone. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe the contractors will disappear someday too. So I think here I'm just looking around the Terminal 3 area and noticing that there's no bathroom, there's no cafe, there's no shop at all. Which, I mean, there's a staff one on the second floor, but other than that one, yeah, I kind of neglected that. So we're gonna put the plan is to put some bathrooms here for the non-secure section of the airport. So I'm just getting rid of the windows, putting in the walls, putting in the new terminal structure. And now I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put like secure zone, bathroom, and uh, cafe. I'm thinking this area might work, but it's also a little bit tight. So I don't really. It might work for a shop and a cafe there, but I don't really. Oh, those planes are so loud when they go over. Um, but I decided that instead of putting them there, that I would use that space to put infrastructure in so that we could get to the next floor. So this is considered the first floor, and then the second floor is where we're gonna build this on. So that's what I've decided to do. So I gotta put a secure area because you can't have stairs that go from secure to not secure. And I discovered something interesting here too. Um, so I put the escalator down, which wasn't an issue, but I decided to try and put elevators to go up to the next level too, because why not? They're already there, right? Wrong. Apparently you can't put an elevator from, like you can't have the same elevator go up each floor. Like I thought maybe I could just put another elevator on top of the existing one or something to make it go to the next floor. No, it's not a thing. You gotta place them side by side, basically. So that was a weird thing to well, it's a weird discovery. It's a weird thing in general. Cause I kind of wish that you could have just used the same elevator shaft to go up. Maybe in the future they'll fix that. So yeah, on the first floor I have the two elevators side by side now, so that we can get to the second floor, which is going to be our our facilities, comfort facilities, I guess is what we can call it. I think in hindsight, looking at this again, I think what I could do too is I could instead of putting the escalator where I put it, maybe I could move it, like remove, because I have 3 escalators there. I think here I'm just complaining about the planes that keep flying over the terminal. Um, but yeah, I have 3 escalators there that go from the security zone up to the first floor where all the gates are. I could take out that middle escalator and maybe make that one go up, which might work better actually since it faces the gates. But yeah, here I'm just talking about. I remember what I was talking about here. It was like I'm just trying to figure out what I'm gonna do about those planes flying directly over, cause yeah, it's really annoying when I'm focused on the terminal and I just get these loud aircraft flying directly overhead. Um, I thought about maybe using the same runway for the small aircraft and the medium aircraft, but the amount of traffic, the amount of flight traffic is actually pretty high for both sides because, I mean, we got 8 medium aircraft stands there, and then Terminal 2 has, I think, 6 aircraft stands. So it's a lot of planes to have to manage there. So it's better to just keep them separate. Just checking on the delays. We're getting better. Only 3 flights that are really delayed now. The rest of them are all on time, so we're doing well. I think I'm just gonna check around here as well just to make sure that the delays are still due to catering and not something else, which that is the issue. This one flight though, um, it had a bunch of stuff wrong with it. So I checked that one. Well, this is the first one I'm checking, which is completely fine. But the second one on that list had a bunch of red, uh, red problems, and so I was basically just checking to see what was going on with that. But it just was it was a new arrival to the airport, so. So the error there was just saying that the stand was already occupied, which is for that stand there where the flight is leaving. So the flight that just arrived is actually the flight that was saying the stand was occupied. So yeah, we're just monitoring the traffic, making sure everything's flowing as expected. I think I watched this flight for a little while just to see how quickly it could be turned around. I mean, everything seems to actually happen pretty quickly. Feeling's a bit slow, but it is what it is. But this flight actually has something interesting happen with the catering. Oh wait, maybe it wasn't this flight. Oh no, it is this one, yeah. So the truck arrived to do the catering, but it ended up leaving before the catering was complete. And so I assumed the truck was empty. And then, so this is the main reason why we have to do some changes over on Terminal 3 is because there's this bottleneck here where there's only one roadway going from one side to the other, and the trucks constantly get stuck there. So in changing the runway layout, I need to also take care of that issue. So the runway layout that I ultimately decide to do is temporary, but it works to fix this issue. So that's basically what I'm going to be working on next here. So I decided to use the existing medium runway in order to save on cost, save on all that jazz, even though money's really not an option anymore. But yeah, it just makes sense to use the original runway for the time being, just to get it taken care of, get everything taken care of. So that's what I'm doing here, is I'm just getting the ramps together so that we can start getting our flights sent over to that runway for landing and takeoff. And it works really well because the flights land on the left side and take off from the right side. So it actually, the traffic flow works really well, if that makes sense. But I mean, eventually I'm going to have to move that runway because we want to expand Terminal 1 and that runway's kind of in the way. So there's all that space in the middle. So I mean, in the middle of that runway, between that runway and Terminal 3. So we definitely want to move that a little bit closer to Terminal 3 so that it's not so out of the way. I'm really excited that I got to make this change though, because those planes, I mean, I really liked the layout originally, but after realizing that the planes were always flying immediately over the terminal, I realized very quickly that this setup was the original setup there for Terminal 3 wasn't going to work long term. So we have two different taxiways that are going in here, and I'm going to make the left one is going to be for arrivals and the right one's going to be for departures, so that the flights never have to cross paths going from the runway to the gates, except for around the gate area. So it'll keep things flowing really nicely. We shouldn't have any bottlenecks or issues with the planes going from runway to the gate, which is great. So our new level to the airport terminal has been built, so I'm just gonna finish putting in some walls here around the elevators and where the windows were that we had to remove, and just put some hedges in around the escalator. Because I like to put my hedges. So I'm just trying to figure out now where to put the bathrooms. I wasn't quite sure where to put them. I was thinking maybe in this side, in this area, but I couldn't see a way to fit them properly, to make them look good and fit them properly. So what I ended up doing is I removed part of the terminal actually that we just built. I know we just built it. We just took the time to build that and spent the money, but um, you know what really happened? I kind of explained this in the original audio. I'm kind of used to the whole when you play in sandbox mode, everything is instant. As soon as you build something, it's instantly built. You don't have to wait for contractors to come and do it for you, as long as you enable that instant building. And since in this playthrough, I don't have that enabled, I kind of got used to using it in my other in what I was doing previously. So yeah, all for the baggage handling video. I again, I blame the baggage handling for all the issues with episode 25. So I decided to put the bathroom here. I thought it was a good place to put it, and yeah, I really do like how this turns out. I mean, I've built so many bathrooms in this series, but I, rather than airport CEO, let's call it bathroom simulator. Um, yeah, so I kind of got this little passway hallway in the middle, and then I'm putting the bathrooms like this. And for some reason, I keep thinking the right bathroom is bigger than the left bathroom as I'm building it. So I was like, what is going on here? But no, they're actually the same size. It's just my eyes playing tricks, I guess. And of course, our final touch is going to be our traditional bathroom tiles. And that's it. Perfect. So the next step was to figure out where to put a cafe and a shop area. I zoomed out to dodge the aircraft noise because I heard it coming. But yeah, so I was trying to figure out where the best place would be to put this, and I decided that against the left wall there was the best option. So I'm just playing around with the sizing now to see what works best. And ultimately I was able to put two 15 by 13 zones here. So I put the cafe up top and I put the shop down below it. And I think I mean, we don't see, you can't see what I've built there yet, but I think it did turn out really well actually. I'm pretty happy with it. So we had some 5-star contracts for these, for the diner and the shop, but I didn't really want to use 5-star here because it's a medium aircraft terminal. I wanted to save the 5 stars for the large aircraft terminal. However, I did decide, you know what, let's just give it a go. So I ended up going with wine and cheese. So 50% airport cut and 95 sales needed to get the bonus, or so that they don't move out. So I was like, you know what, it's doable. So I had to put, I think it was 10 display fridges, which that's a lot to have to fit. They're 2 tiles each, so. So I decided to like line them along the staff area, like the counter area, I guess. So I put some in behind and had some there facing where the passengers would be at. And then I decided to put the countertops as well. And I always like to make behind these counters a staff area so that we don't have any random passengers that walk back there. I think it's more realistic. So I decided to put some booths in. I had an issue finding them at first, but I decided to use the booths and put 3 booths along the top wall there, which it was perfect. The size, each one is the same size, so it worked perfectly. And then throughout the rest of the cafe, I decided to put some chairs, and then we're gonna put some tables in between them as well. And finish it off with some plants. I didn't really leave a lot of room for hedges. I like to use hedges around the cafes. I think it looks nice, but yeah, I didn't really leave space for that, so I just put a little hedge there and left it at that. But the next thing, I think I was checking to see if there's anywhere else to put hedges, but yeah, and then I decided to put the flooring, so I'm using the dark tiles, the same ones that I use for bathrooms, for the staff area there, and then I use dark wood for the area where the customers are going to be. I think it looks really nice. Of course, you got to put some windows in. I decided to go with the medium windows so that we could have 2 side by side there, and then have one on the side. And then it was time for the shop. So I was taking a look through and seeing which one to pick here, and I decided to go with a 5-star as well for the shops. I'm going with this bottle one. It's 51% airport cut, and you need 110 sales in order for them to not move out. We also needed 10 shelves to be placed around the shop area. I kind of like building shops actually. They're really easy to build because all you really need is the checkout counter and the shelves, so it's pretty quick and easy, whereas the cafes kind of take more time. So I'm just playing around with the shelves to see which one works best here. I like this, but I ended up moving them down a block because I realized that as I was building this out, I wanted to put a wall in between the counters from the cafe and the shop area because it makes sense. I always like to use these larger shelves, and then I use these pedestal shelves. I don't really use the other ones too often because they're wall mounted, I believe. So unless you have them up against a wall, they don't really. I don't find they look that well, or that they don't look that good. That I mean. And there's the wall. And I decided to go with big windows for the shop area. I think this is the first time I used this mosaic tile too. Decided to switch it up. When I was doing the baggage handling tutorial video, I found this clinker floor that I'm about to put down, and I really like this actually. I think it's become my new favorite flooring for like when I need to fill a huge area with a floor color. This is the one I think I'm going to be using a lot going forward. Before it was like just the basic white tile. But yeah, I think this one works really well, so I ended up going ahead with that. We're just gonna finish by putting some flight display boards here, because those are definitely useful to have around this area since there's going to be a lot of passengers. And I decided to go ahead and put some seating around the area too. And I was just checking because I haven't, in this playthrough, I don't think I've put any information desks down at all. So I was just looking to see if I had any, and I realized I didn't. So in the future I might end up looking at putting some of those in. But we'll probably need to put them in and then balance the passenger service agents, so I didn't want to do it right at this moment. But yeah, eventually I'm gonna look into that, because I'm assuming they help your rating, your airport rating. Yeah, I don't really know the specifics behind what the information desks do, but I know when I do use them, lots of passengers do go up to them. I decided to use the laptop desks here too, although I don't really I still don't know what they do beyond they help your airport's luxury rating, but beyond that I really don't know what they do. So, but I put them in, and I also put some comfy chairs in front of them, so make it look like people are actually using them. But I don't know. If anyone knows how those work, the laptop tables, let me know, because I have no idea. And I decided to finish this area with some nice airport logos. And I put them in front of the elevators too. Yeah, I really like how this area turned out. I think it looks really well. I was considering putting some statues in too, but I was like, nah, it's good. It's good the way it is. So our contractors finished taking out the walls here and building the new section on for our bathroom area, so I decided to come over and get that started too. We're gonna have to reclaim a little bit of space from the security area there in order for the bathroom areas to be even in size and to also be a good size, and to line up with that space that I put in the wall there between the check-in area and the bathroom area. So I think I ended up having to build the top bathroom before I built the bottom bathroom, because I had to wait for those walls to be removed on the bottom side. So I just quickly threw together everything for the top bathroom, and then I think I came back to it after a little while. Making progress. I think here I got annoyed with the airplanes flying over, so I'm like, how much longer until this is done? Our contractors are working on it. Not fast enough though, in my opinion. uh, I guess I could enable that project. I don't know if I did or not, the increase construction speed project. Well, for taxiways, I don't think it would make a difference because they're pretty much an instant build as soon as it's kind of like fences. As soon as the contractor gets to it, it's instantly built. So I was checking the schedule here to see how we're doing, and it looks like we only have 2 more flights left for the medium stands. So I decided to shut down the stands that are no longer being used and leave the 2 open that need to be open. But that's where we're at. And just checking into the delays to see how we're doing there. We only got 1 flight that's delayed, and I believe it was because it was a brand new arrival to the airport. Oh, and this is the one that had the catering issue. So the catering was nearly completed, and then as you can see here, the truck still had supplies, but they left the aircraft short on catering supplies to go and restock, which is going to make the delay even worse for that flight. So I don't know what the game was thinking there, but yeah, I was kind of frustrated with that issue because they have to drive all the way back to the depot there just to restock. And the thing is they had enough to fill the aircraft. They just left before it was completely full. So I don't know what happened there. But yeah, I decided to look at putting a catering depot in here, but there's no space for it yet. I'm gonna have to wait until we start removing stuff. So that's basically where I left that at. Is as soon as we can start demolishing, I'm gonna make it a priority to put a catering depot down there. Although I don't even know if multiple catering depots are allowed, but I guess we're gonna find out. Maybe I need another contract for it or something, I don't know. So I finally get to close and remove that runway. I was really happy about that. No longer have loud aircraft flying directly over the terminal. So I'm just removing the extra taxiways and whatnot. I decided to keep the taxiway going down to those down to these hangars because I'm gonna keep the hangars there for the time being. I don't know if I'll move them in the future or not, but for now they're fine where they're at, so I decided to leave them. And I kept that taxiway going down there as well as the service road. But I'm just gonna move the taxiway over a block there because we need to give extra space for the service road by that baggage bay because we want to fix those traffic jams that keep happening. I also decided to put a new taxiway in just to make there be a taxiway available for inbound and outbound flights. That way we don't have any bottleneck issues there where flights are trying to leave while flights are arriving, and all that jazz. I saw the plane kind of make that weird turn there. I didn't really like that, so I decided to put a taxiway in so that it can quickly go over to the right taxiway when it's departing. So that's what I decided to do there. And I also decided that I didn't like the service road the way it was there, so I changed it slightly. And I think I'm gonna fight with the taxiway a little bit here, trying to remove the the taxiway path, but it's like every single flight wants to use it because it's the only way to depart the the airport terminal. So I have to wait a little while before I can actually do this. I really like the flow of this. I like how this flows. I think I'll probably keep the runway as is. Maybe move it closer to the terminal, but I'll probably keep it exactly the way it is and just push it up higher towards Terminal 3. Because I think the way that I have this set up at the end of the episode here, I think it works really well. And then I was able to remove the extra taxiway there and put in the service road. So now that's all fixed. I mean, I could have put the service road, I do realize I could have put the service road there anyway, but it would have been like underneath the taxiway, and then I would have had vehicles driving on that part of the taxiway as well, and I don't know if that would block the aircraft from moving at that point. I just didn't want to play with that, you know? So I decided to shuffle everything over slightly just to make room for that service road and fix the bottleneck issues we had. So this is our second last medium aircraft departing from Terminal 1, and our last aircraft is the Forest Air one sitting at the other stand. I think I just watched this one for a little while just to, you know, watch it go. And there it goes. I'm actually kind of glad that we're no longer going to have planes at that stand, because I was kind of annoyed by the planes being pushed back into the terminal. I don't know if you noticed that just happened. But yeah, that's something I've noticed for a long time, and it's kind of been bothering me, so I decided to, I'm looking forward to being able to definitely remove that and not have that be an issue anymore. That's it. All the stands are now closed for the medium Terminal 1. Crazy. All the original infrastructure is pretty much done now, and I'm just going through and canceling the contracts for the cafes and the shops here, but I also realized that the shops already moved out at some point, so that's a shame, but oh well. Yeah, and even the shop in the well, first I looked at the restaurant. It's doing really well actually, which I'm happy to see. And of course, this cafe is just killing it. It's almost 1,000 sales for this day, which is awesome. But at some point, that shop apparently moved out as well. So I decided to go in and fill it in with another contract here. I think I went with Boulanger Jewelers. Decided to give that one a shot and see if it will work out. And we're making good progress on the new cafe and the new shop over here in Terminal 3. So I decided to go ahead and get the contract signed. So we went with wine and cheese, and then we went with the, what was the other one called? Oh yeah, it's called Bottle. So I was debating here whether or not to shut this cafe down, as well as the shop up above, but I think, yeah, I decided to go ahead and sign up Flygo for the shop space, to see if it'll survive or not. And but I mean, eventually we're going to be tearing apart this terminal area, so the shop and the cafe there are probably going to be going as well at some point, but we'll see what happens. But for the time being, we might as well try and get some income from them. So there we go. And I also at that point realized that there's a whole whack of staff rooms and offices there that I'm going to have to move somewhere. And also all those staff members in Terminal 1 that I don't need anymore. I'm going to have to go through and sort that out too. But yeah, I realized here that the bathrooms weren't actually opened here, so I decided to get them opened. But I was also excited to see all the passengers on this floor already. Um, I didn't realize it was going to be so popular right off the bat, but I guess they all wanted places to sit, and maybe the chairs are something that I think, yeah, I think that's what it was actually. The seating I put up there was more comfortable than uh, the group seating that I have at the gates, so they probably all ran up there to increase their comfort meters quickly. I decided as well, upon looking at Terminal 2, I realized there's no bathroom uh, in the non-secure area, so I decided to go ahead and put another one in over by the baggage claim area. So that's what I'm just gonna quickly throw together here too. So yeah, we got those all opened up right away, which is great. We were able to open this one up right away as well, and now everybody should be more happy. And that cafe is an instant success, although I'm not sure why people don't want to visit the shop. I'm a little disappointed to see that the passengers aren't really keen to go and visit the shop. Hopefully they don't move out like all the other ones did. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, I don't know. Let me know if I am doing something wrong. But I think everything's right there. It's just for some reason everybody wants coffee, and well, I guess in that case it's wine and cheese. That's the name of the cafe. So they all want to go to wine and cheese, but they don't want to go and buy anything so from the shop. I think that's pretty much it for this episode. I did end up hiring new janitors here for Terminal 3 because I noticed that there was a little bit of a shortage, and I know I've built onto the terminal considerably. Um, adding a new level, so it could definitely benefit from having a couple more janitors, so that's what I ended up putting. And I think that's where I left this episode at, actually. I'm kind of just doing this commentary on top of the video, so I don't really know what's gonna happen. Um, but yeah, so the next episode we're gonna be going ahead and starting with the deconstruction of Terminal 1. Like I said, we need to balance the staff as well, so I'm gonna try and get the staffing issue under control because that's been a mess for a long time now. And we're gonna maybe look at moving that runway at some point as well because we need to make space for our plans for Terminal 1. I'm super excited to get started on that. But in any case, if you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and until next time, take care.